You're tuned in to the Restaurant Rockstars podcast. Powerful ideas to rock your restaurant. Here's your host, Roger Bodwin.
Welcome back, guys, to the Restaurant Rockstars podcast. I'm really excited you're here. Thanks again for tuning in. This episode is all about social media marketing for restaurants, okay? A lot of restaurant owners and operators and managers, they know they've got to be on social media, but they're just not experts at it. They don't know what to do. They don't know how often to post, where to post, which platforms, who you're trying to reach. So you really need an expert in your corner. I'm excited today to bring you Mr. Mark Laux. He's been a guest before because he's got a cool menu design company with his wife, Kelly, but they also specialize in online and social media marketing for restaurants. They've got a completely turnkey platform that does all the heavy lifting for you. So you got to stay tuned and listen up. But first, let's talk statistics. You know, about 80% of the U.S. population are on Facebook and social media and Twitter and, you know, all these platforms every single day. And about 72% statistics show have actually used Facebook alone just to make their restaurant decisions. We know Yelp and TripAdvisor are also up there, and you got to have high reviews to get people to be compelled to come into your restaurant. But again, very few people know how this works. So if 80% of the population, that's about 260 million people, I don't care where your restaurant is. Do you think some of these people might be your customers if you could do this and do it the right way? Absolutely. So stay tuned to this episode. It's going to be an eye-opener. Thanks for listening. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Restaurant Rockstars podcast. These are engaging topics that help restaurants rock their profits, build their brands, deliver amazing guest service experiences. Brands are really important to this conversation because if you run a restaurant, you simply cannot ignore the importance of social media marketing. So I'm really excited to have Mr. Mark Laux today from a company called Hot Operator. They are social media experts, and Mark is going to tell you all about what you can do to maximize your social media firepower. Welcome to the show, Mark. How are you today?
I'm doing terrifically. Thanks, Roger. And thanks for inviting me on. I really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun to be here.
Well, you've been a guest before, Mark, and I'm really happy to have you because you also have an incredible menu design service that we used many years ago with our restaurants, and I can certainly endorse that. But now we have something that's called OrderUp Social that you're going to tell us all about.
That's exactly right. Do you want to just jump right in?
Yeah, why not? Let's take it away.
That sounds good. Hang on.
Stay tuned, folks. We're going to have a demonstration about the power of social media marketing and how this OrderUp Social product can really help you move your restaurant forward.
Right, exactly. So now I need to share my screen. How's that?
Perfect. OrderUp Social. We got it.
Perfect. So OrderUp Social is based on a couple of things. The problem with restaurant social media is that many restaurant operators just don't understand the value of social media. In fact, in my business, I work with hundreds and hundreds of restaurant operators every year. And the first thing that we do when we're looking at their menu is we look at their social media because we want to see what's going on for them. We want to see and understand better how they're approaching social media and what their customers think of their business. It's really important to understand that. And what we discovered over the years working with restaurant operators is they just don't understand the value of social media, and a lot of times they just don't use it. And so we started to talk to restaurant operators about that. What we found is through research is 34% of small businesses have no social media presence at all, and the other 65% pretty much suck at it. I hate to sound that way, but
that's funny.
When I look at their social media, I'm appalled at the pictures and what they're talking about, and then also how little they do with it. And so we started thinking, is there a way we could help our restaurant operators use social media to actually connect the dots? And this is the most important part of it. A lot of social media, or a lot of restaurant operators will say, oh, I've tried social media and I can never see if it actually works. I never get any customers and they never say anything about it. I don't really get that many likes. Nobody's really talking about it. And only have a couple of hundred people following me. So what we did is started looking at what social media means to the restaurant operator and how they do it. So we started asking the question, so how are you doing it? Most of the people that we talked to said, well, they're doing it themselves and they do it inconsistently. So what they do is they start out doing social media with really great intentions, and then they do it for a week or two, and then they just stop doing it, or they'll do it every few months or something like that. And a lot of times we'll talk to a restaurant operator. That just happened the other day. I was looking at a restaurant operator who was talking about a menu, and I looked at his social media. He hadn't posted since like 2015. I'm thinking, what are you doing, man? You're missing this great opportunity. A lot of restaurant operators we talk to have a server do it. They'll just say, well, they're young. They know how to do it. And that is a really bad way to do this, because they're not really restaurant people. They're just because they're young doesn't mean they really understand what's going on in social media. A lot of people will say, well, I know a guy, he's not really in the food business, but he's been helping me out a little bit. And a lot of times that kind of thing can be kind of weird too. A lot of the posts that they do don't really work, or they don't do it all. And this is what we find with most of the restaurants. I would say probably about half of the restaurant operators we talk to, they just don't use it. So my question to you is, which one are you? Because if you're any of these, you're just doing it wrong, and we can help that. So let's talk about why social media is important. And by the way, if you have a question or comment on this, Sir Roger, just jump in.
Yeah, I sure will. I'll dive in, but so far so great.
Okay, and I'm from the Midwest, and we're cold up here, so I talk kind of fast. So if you need me to slow down, just holler.
Nope, you're doing great.
So why it's important? 80% of the United States population uses social media every day. And I read an article the other day that showed that more than 60% of users of social media look at social media before they get out of bed in the morning. So they literally wake up, grab their phone, and start looking at social media right before they get up. That's pretty impressive when you think about 260 million people in the United States are looking at social media. Some of those people just might be your customers. I'm guessing a lot of them are, or could be, or have that potential, right?
Yeah, so my wife does that. So that must mean that she's planning out where we're going to go to dinner that night, right? Just by checking out who's posting what and what the specials are and all that kind of good stuff.
Well, imagine if there was some feature or some special or something going on in a restaurant that she had wanted to try or was thinking about, and she saw it at that first thing in the morning. It'd be top of the mind throughout the day. She'd be thinking about, geez, Roger, let's go to this place. They've got something going on. Here's a couple more important statistics I want to share, because this also gets to the importance of this of social media for restaurant operators. Consumer reviews are 12 times more trusted than product descriptions or anything that you say directly. So using social media to get people to talk about you is extremely important. Empathica research shows that 72% of consumers have used Facebook and other social media programs to make a restaurant decision. Think about that. 72% of that 230 million people have made a decision based on social media. And that's based on your social media. And if you're not there, if you haven't been there since 2015 or haven't been there the last 2 months, they're going to look at you and think, well, this is a cul-de-sac. This is a dead end. I'm not going to go here. And then according to Berkeley economists, half a star difference on Yelp could mean a 27% increase in sales for a restaurant operator. Now think about that for a minute. Now this only works for independent restaurants. If you're a chain restaurant, it doesn't matter. In fact, Yelp has absolutely zero impact on your business. But if you're an independent restaurant operator, having a good social media presence is going to have a big impact on your sales, and it's going to have a big impact on your business. Does that make sense?
That's a really powerful statistic alone, just that half a star swing. I mean, I
know. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it hits you like a ton of bricks in the face.
Yeah, think about that. If you're 3 stars and you go to 3.5 stars in your restaurant, and you get a 20% lift or 27% lift, that would be incredible for your business.
It would. That's a huge percentage increase. So
exactly.
Wow.
And OrderUp Social actually gives you tips, and it gives you instructions on how to build your Yelp following and get people to comment about you and to say the right thing. Make sense?
It does.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So what we want you to do is become a part of the conversation. It's how you stay top of mind with your customers. You need to know where they are. You need to be where they are. So if a consumer is on social media every day, you got to be there. You got to be in front of them. And when I talk about being top of mind, that's a marketing statement. It's a marketing thought. When Molly or Bob or whoever it is that your customer is making a decision about where to eat, you want to be top of mind. You want to be the pizza place they pick, or you want to be the Mexican restaurant they pick. You need to do that, and social media will help you stay in front of your customers. Now, we did a survey because we started wondering, what is a restaurant operator looking for in social media, and what are their questions? And we come up with these 7. So the first one is, how does social media work? They just don't understand it. It's just incredible to me. I'm talking to a restaurant operator actually earlier today, and we were talking about his social media. And he said to me that he thought he had a Facebook page, and we started searching for it. I could not find one. And then when I started talking to him further, as it turned out, he didn't have a Facebook page. In fact, he wasn't even on Facebook himself. So I was like, well, okay, there you go. We
A little bit
figured
of
that out.
confusion there. I
There
wonder what he
was.
thinking, or where he was when he wasn't.
Exactly. And when we started talking about social media and getting a Facebook page and an Instagram page and Twitter page, he was like, I have no idea even how to do that. So just understanding how to set this up is one of the first questions. The second question is, what platforms should I use? What works best for a restaurant? And what OrderUp Social does is we've set up our format to work with 2 of them that are the most important on social media. The first one is Facebook, which is hugely popular with people who you're going to be looking for. Those are people between 35 and 65 years old who have a pretty substantial amount of income, and they're on Facebook or social media a great deal. And the second one is Instagram, which is essentially an extension of Facebook. And so we set up our posts to really work with both of those. And then the next thing they're looking for is, what do I say? When do I say it? And how do I say it? So those 3 things combined becomes number 6, and that's getting the format to look good. So what photos, what file sizes, and saying the right things. And it can be a pretty daunting task for a restaurant operator because you're doing so many other things to look at a blank computer and say, now what do I say today? And I have to do that every couple of days. And with social media, especially with Facebook, you want to be there 3 or 4 times a week. It's really important to be there and be online. And then the final one is getting customers to notice. We'll hear a lot of restaurant operators we talk to say this. They'll say, well, I've used it, but nobody ever comments or nobody ever says anything. And my answer to that is the same thing I would say to a restaurant operator that would come to us and say, I've tried billboards, but they don't work for me. Or I've tried radio and it doesn't work. The fact is, it's probably what you're saying and how you're saying it that's having a big impact on that. I mean, if you're posting photographs of food that looks horrible, people are not going to respond to that. In fact, they're going to skip over it, or they're going to block you because they don't want to see, that something that looks horrible. If you're not saying something that interests them, of course, they're not going to pay any attention to you. So it has a lot to do with what you're saying and how you're saying it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Are you recommending professional photography, not just pulling out your camera phone and shooting your special that just came off the line?
That's a great question. So we're recommending doing both. And
Okay.
what we recommend is using the Hot Operator OrderUp Social program as your baseline. And then we teach you how to take photographs. We'll give you tips on how to take photos, how to set a photograph up with your smartphone.
Fantastic.
I don't have any problem with that. The problem with most restaurant operators is they'll make a product they want to take a picture of, and they'll set it back in the back of the house. They'll just slap it on one of their chrome, their chrome tables, and they'll have all that fluorescent light blasting off it, and it'll just look flat and horrible back there. What we recommend you do is take the photograph in the front of the house near a window. We tell you how to set the whole thing up so it looks terrific. Does that make sense?
Super so far. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, great advice.
So this is how most restaurant operators use social media today. They just stuck their head in the sand. They don't do anything. But the fact is, just because you're not listening doesn't mean they're not talking or hearing or seeing you. Other people are talking about you. It's happening all the time. So you've got to pay attention. You've got to be there. So after we did all this research, started looking at it, we wanted to introduce a new program called OrderUpSocial.com. So OrderUp Social essentially is something you subscribe to. There are a couple of platforms. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And what you do is you get an email from us toward the end of each month for the following month. So at the end of August, somewhere between the 18th and the 25th, you'll get an email in your inbox. It'll look like this. It'll show you that the content is ready to download. And then when you get it, you just click on this little download button, and you will get a little tiny slide like this, a little zip file. And this was done for one of our customers, Wubba's. So this is Wubba's August social media posts.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So it's a compressed folder because it's kind of big. There's a lot of stuff in there. And when you double click it or when you click it and open it, you're going to get another folder that'll look like the one next to it. That just basically is all this stuff in there. Once you open it up, this is what it looks like. Each photograph, each post is marked. So the 2nd, the 4th, the 7th, the 9th, all of those dates are all posts that we have in here. And then at the bottom, there's a PDF file that shows Wubba's monthly social media August 2019. And when you open that, it shows you what all of the really cool posts are going to be for that particular month. And this is what the PDF looks like. So you'll get a PDF on the left, that's the whole calendar. And when you look at it, when you scroll in, you'll see that like on August 25th, there's this kiss and make up day that we've come up with. And that is share these lips with someone who would like to kiss and make up with. And then hashtag sorry, hashtag kiss me, hashtag let's make up. We recommend putting your own hashtag in. And in the case of Wubba's, we actually did that for them. We actually put, Wubba's for your makeup. And we also said, let's have lunch at Wubba's. Those are hashtags we use.
Yeah, I was going to ask if there was a restaurant sort of a bounce back connection there. So you just told us what that was.
It is.
Makes sense.
What's nice about this is we're actually asking people to share these lips with someone you'd like to kiss and make up with. So it's essentially a way for you to post, get people to actually share this. Make sense?
It does.
So the way algorithms work for both Instagram, actually all social media programs work this way, is the algorithm works basically, it shows you more of the stuff that people are posting and sharing. So if somebody engages, if they like or they love something, or if they share something or they comment on something, that gives you more traction. It gives you more organic followers, and that's what we're looking for. We want to connect the dots between we did this and people are actually doing something with it. Make sense?
It does. Yeah, certainly does.
So this is what it looks like then. If you open up the photograph, it says kiss and makeup. And this one actually has Wubba's Barbecue Shack logo on it. We highly recommend going for that platform, but you can do you can do this yourself too. You can add your logo if you prefer to do that. So you take this kiss and make update text or comment, and then you put the photograph together. And I'm going to show you now what you do with it. So it's all ready to go. You just take the text, you paste it into a post. Oops, I got to back up, sorry.
No worries. Yep.
And then you create the post. You go in, and in this case, you can see the middle one here. I put all the text in there, and I actually added all the Wubbas and all that other stuff.
Yeah, the hashtags. Now I see the graphic added.
Yeah. And then once you hit post, now down here, you'll see share now, boost post, and then share now down here. There's 2 buttons for share now. There's a reason there is 2. You can preview it if you want to just see what it's going to look like. You can click that button. It'll just show you what it looks like. The second one here, this share now. So if I'm ready to post, if it's, let's say, 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, and I just did this, and this is a good time to do it, I just hit share now. Off it goes. But if I want to share it, let's say I want to share it at 7:30 in the evening, because that's a really great time to be posting on social media. I click this little button here. It'll have a drop-down menu, and I can pick a time and day to post this. So I can actually post this in the future sometime. So I don't have to be there when it's done.
So that's a really good question you're bringing up. So you just mentioned that an ideal time would be 7:30 in the evening.
Mm-hmm. Another good time is very early in the morning, 6:30, 7 o'clock. And now restaurant operators tend to be pretty nocturnal.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Yeah, so that's why I say, use that share now button, because if you click that, you can post at 6:30 tomorrow morning if you would prefer to do that, and it'll be there. It'll launch it automatically by itself. We use a program called Hootsuite. There are a lot of others that are out there that you can set up an entire month if you want to in advance. Facebook does offer this program, but it's a little cumbersome and it's hard to remember what you did. So you have to be really carefully using this, because there's no calendar that you can see what you did or when you're going to post. Does that make sense to you?
Should press the go button consistently during the same times each week, or are you recommending mix it up between morning and evening depending on how many posts a week you're putting out there?
Okay, so one of the cool things about OrderUp Social is we actually have in red at the bottom of the calendar, it shows you what time of day we recommend this particular post to be posted, and also what day. So there's a day and a time, and then we also offer, if this is an opportunity to boost. You can see this little button here that says boost post.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So what that does is, and it's really important that you follow these instructions, and we give you tips on this every month if you subscribe. You hit the boost post, and then it's going to, right at the very top, and you and I should probably do a podcast about this at some point so we can go through how to post. But what you don't want to do is have Facebook or Instagram choose your audience. If they start doing that, they're going to show it to everybody because they want to use up your money as fast as they can. That's the business they're in, is to get your cash.
Of course.
So what you want to do instead is select your own audience. And what you do is you put a pin drop in the center of your restaurant and you go about 20 miles around you, 15 to 20 miles around you. And that's the audience you're looking for. And then you select how old you want them to be. And you can also pick the kinds of things that they're interested in that might make sense for your restaurant. The issue with Facebook is you have to have over 60,000 people in that particular audience before they'll let you boost to it, because it's just not large enough for you to get seen. And they don't want to be spending a lot of their energy around something that they can't charge you for. So they're going to force you to go a little bigger than you want and to include people you maybe don't want as much as you would like, but it will get you traction if you boost some of these posts. And we tell you which ones that they should be. And we usually recommend 2 or 3 of those a month so that you're spending somewhere between $30 and maybe $100 a month on social media. Does that make sense?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then when we do recommend spending about $250 a month about there. We have restaurant operators though that spend a couple of thousand a month with us in advertising, and they'll have 75 or 80,000 followers on their social media page, on their Facebook page, which is incredible because we post something and we might get 5,000 or 6,000 people in the first hour to see it, which is really terrific. Imagine the power of that for your restaurant. You could fill a restaurant. If you post on Sunday for a feature you're going to have on Wednesday, you could fill the restaurant by Wednesday.
Yeah, because it's all about response rates based on the size of that list and following.
That's exactly right.
That's amazing. Cool. Powerful stuff.
Yeah. So with this, there are 3 options. So there's a basic platform, which is a very generic post program. By the way, there are 5 categories that are here. So we've got one for Mexican restaurants, one for Italian restaurants, one for Asian food, one for sports bars / American food, and then one for more upscale white tablecloth. So when you select the option, when you go to OrderUpSocial.com and you start looking around, it's going to ask you before you can sign up what kind of restaurant you are so that you're getting the right stuff. Then there's a branded platform, which is a little more expensive, but it also, we actually go in then each month to your particular restaurant and we put in your logo, we put in some of your photos if you have photos you want to send us, and we'll use those as well. And then we also put hashtags in for you, and we really customize it for your restaurant. And then the highest, the premium platform, this is something that we do a special calendar just for you. It's completely branded with your images. We really do a lot of more work. And then we post for you. So we set up the whole thing. We set up your avatar. We set up your cover photo. And we set these photographs up just particularly for you. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you, like, as an example, this is option 1. So this is the basic program. You might get something for Sister's Day. This is just an example. There's like usually about 15 of these things in there. And so you get this lovely photograph of the cute with Sister's Day. And by the way, we also set these up so that, as an example of Sister's Day, this might be a promotion that we do. It's, hey, it's Sister's Day. Why don't you take your sister out to lunch? That kind of thing. You can boost this post because we make sure that none of the text on the page is more than 20%, which is the limit that they have for social media programs. And so you can't boost something that's just text. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I mean?
I do.
Okay. And so then option 2 would look more like this, where you would have it's Sister's Day, and then we would change the text to say, hey, it's Sister's Day. Why don't you go to Wubba's with your sister and get sloppy with some barbecue? It'd be terrific. And then all the hashtags are changed and that sort of thing. And then option 3, I'm going to show you this one. This is actually from a restaurant called Napoli's. We work with several of these. They have several restaurants. And so they came to us with a problem. They were saying, well, our lunch isn't strong enough, so we really want to help that. So we came up with this promotion. It's called Sandwich of the Week. It's actually National Sandwich Month this month. And so all August on every Sunday night, we post the sandwich of the week. And what we do is we post a description of whatever a particular sandwich on their lunch menu. And then we say, if you can guess what this is, what this particular sandwiches. If you know the name of this sandwich, you post it, and we're going to draw a winner every week on Monday, and you'll get a free chips or fries and a free soft drink just for naming that particular sandwich. And what happens is we'll get about 25 or 30 comments. We'll get about 150 likes, and all that for the cost of a soda and a side of fries. Make sense?
Fantastic. Yes.
Yeah. And so this promotion, along with other things that are being posted, is going on all week or all month for them. Does that make sense?
You came up with this promotion, and this is something you do for your clients.
Yeah. And so how this particular option works is you talk to a social media expert every other week. So we talk twice a month. We spend about a half hour on the phone with you going through what's going on in your restaurant. We answer any questions you might have. We talk about things that are happening. The other thing that we do is we look at the social media for you. And if there's something that's a red flag, if we see somebody saying, hey, your pot roast is really horrible, or saying it's cold, or they're saying this particular service is really horrible, we tell you about that. We say, look, you should look into this. This is something you want to pay attention to. And then if you need help with that, we can answer those questions for you, or we can also tell you what to say, because it's extremely important to really be nice on social media. I know it sounds horrible to have to say that, but it's true. We have a lot of restaurant operators that get nasty on social media. We had one restaurant operator actually in New Jersey who went out of business because he was arguing so much on Yelp. He was just messing with everybody. And they closed him down eventually. He went out of business just because of that.
God,
so be really careful.
Such common sense to me, but word to the wise, like anything.
Exactly.
Jeez.
So why sign up for OrderUpSocialMedia.com is because you want to stay connected each month to your customers. You want to get real social media results. So we're going to connect the dots for you. We're going to increase traffic in your restaurant. That's what this is for. There's no saying marketing. Every dollar I put in, I should get $6 back. And that's the way we set this up, is to help you get money back out of it. We want to stay top of mind. That's extremely important. When somebody's thinking about a Mexican or a pizza joint, or they're thinking about a sandwich shop, or they're thinking about where to go watch the game, you want to be top of mind. You want them thinking of you. We set this up so that you can really do it for less. If you take the two basic programs where we add your logo, or the other one, which is just the generic program, you can do that for less than the cost of the photo subscription to like Deposit Photos or any of those guys alone. In other words, it's cheaper to buy photography from us than it is to buy it from them, which is kind of funny. But the way it works out for us, we have such a good deal because we buy so much photography, we get a huge deal, and we're passing it along to our customers. The final thing, though, is, and this is the thing to keep in mind, is we want to grow your business. That's why we're in business, is to make you more successful and make you grow. Just like my friend Roger, who is extremely good at that.
Oh, I like it. I like I really like the custom cuisine options. That's fantastic. And
it is, right?
Look, you got lots of choices there: Asian, American family, Mexican, Italian, the sports bar, and the white tablecloth restaurant. That pretty much covers all the bases, doesn't it? Like, if you don't fit in there, what are you serving?
Well, I mean, you might have some sort of a Middle Eastern restaurant or something like that. And my recommendation there is, if you want something pretty custom, because you want to be talking about things that are really specific to your restaurant.
Right.
But you're absolutely right. We cover it all. And when you sign up, it's going to ask you, are you a sports bar? Are you casual, theme, or what are you? An American family restaurant or something like that. And when you set up, this is all set up for you. So the things we talk about in the social media calendar are going to be really specifically to your restaurant, so that when you use it, you're not confused about why did you send me this? This doesn't make any sense. Like, if you're an American restaurant, I'm not going to sell a whole bunch of, manicotti, because you probably don't offer that. Does it make sense?
Yeah, I really like the fact that you've got different options for different restaurants, and based on their social media savvy, or how much they want this to be completely turnkey, or you're just giving them a template and the calendar where they can just make these posts happen on their own. But,
that's exactly right.
And all the way at the top end, I mean, you will custom, I think you mentioned that you work with them over the phone twice a month, and that you'll custom design these advertising campaigns and give them all the tools they need to reach out to their customers.
Right.
Build their business.
Exactly. So at that level, the first conversation is to know what's going on in their business. How's it going? What are some problems? When you're in marketing, the first question you ask somebody when you're going to work with them in marketing is, you say, where's the pain? what's hurting right now in your business, what we'd like to improve. If you could just wave a magic wand and say, I want this to happen in my restaurant. We start there. And then what we do is we come up with a calendar that fits that. So we start looking at your business and we look at the pain and we say, how do we fix it? And through social media. And so we'll give you a calendar. And now the second conversation is we go through the calendar with you. And we say, are you comfortable with this? If we give away a $15 gift card based on this contest for photographs, will you be okay with that? Or if somebody comes in, like we did one promotion because we wanted to get people to check in at their restaurant because we were trying to grow more traction behind their Facebook page. So what we said is, and we also wanted to build their lunch business. And so what we said is, if you come in on Wednesdays, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursdays of any week, and you have lunch, if you check in, Bessie, who's the person who owns the restaurant, is going to come by and he's going to give one check-in a free meal. He's going to cover their ticket, the whole thing. And man, did it boom. People were going crazy for that. They're like, oh, I hope I get the free meal. This is terrific. And so for the cost, and keep this in mind too, when we give away something like that, a lot of restaurant operators will say to me, well, you're giving away a $15 gift card. I mean, that's a lot of money. Well, it's not really, if you think about it this way.
Correct. Yep.
Your cost is about 30% of that.
Mm-hmm.
So for $15, you're giving away $5. And if it gets you a really busy lunch period that you didn't have before, that's all incremental sales. It's terrific for you.
Absolutely. I'm glad you pointed that out and clarified. That can be easily lost on people, but you're absolutely right. It all comes down to the cost of product you're serving. And $15 sounds like a great value added for the customer. It's going to bring people in, but it's really going to cost you very little. And the return is definitely going to be there.
It's terrific, right?
Yeah. Totally.
And what happens now for us is the clients we have that use the social media program, the platform that is that we handle their social media for them. What we found is every one of those customers that we have, I forget how many we have. We've got, I'm going to say somewhere around 100, 150, something like that. They all essentially just say, whatever you think is right. And I just love it when they say that because they trust us so much. They're like, yeah, whatever you think it's been working. So just keep doing it.
Yeah, you've sort of tapped into the magic formula, whether it be social media or menu design. I mean, you've worked with so many clients over the years and you've been, a big part of boosting restaurant business. So I think it's tremendous. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So that's OrderUp Social. And we do have a special surprise for you. If you go to OrderUpSocial.com and you enter Rockstar in the code, you will get a special promotion of some kind, or a special gift. I can't tell you what it is exactly yet, but you'll be impressed with it, I'm sure.
Well, thank you so much for that, Mark. I'm going to put that OrderUp Social and the special code Rockstar into the show notes. Thank you for making the offer. This has been tremendous. I call this the business of 1,000 details. And whether you're an owner or a general manager or you got multiple units, it's like there's so many balls in the air. This is one very, very important detail that you just can't skimp on. So if you're not an expert at this, it only makes sense to let the experts do it for you.
Sure.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. Well, Roger, thank you so much. And at some point, we should probably get together and do a podcast on how to actually set up a Facebook and an Instagram page. So I've had a lot of restaurant operators ask me, I don't even know how to do that. Like, how do I even make a page? So maybe we should be starting there. I don't know.
I think that would be the perfect sequel to this episode, and we'll sort of release them a couple of weeks apart, and that way you'll tune into both and you get the most of your expertise. So I think that makes sense. We'll put that on the calendar, Mark. I'd love to have you back.
Terrific. Hey, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, Restaurant Rockstars audience. That was the Restaurant Rockstars podcast, and we will see you in the next episode. Guys, I'm really glad you're with us today. That was a great episode with Mark Laux. He showed you a complete turnkey solution for your social media restaurant needs. I love bringing you content that helps you run a stronger, more profitable operation. And at Restaurant Rockstars, we have a turnkey solution for any of your challenges and pain points, whether that's your financial controls, your marketing, your critical critical staff training. But very few of you know that I also love talking shop, and I'm absolutely passionate to work one-on-one as a coach to restaurants. I have a limited number of spots available every quarter. So if you're interested, if you've got something that's keeping you up at night and you just want to talk shop, I have a free 30-minute consultation. You can reach out to me, Roger, R-O-G-E-R, at restaurantrockstars.com. And who knows, maybe we could work together one-on-one. I look forward to hearing from you. If you like what you're hearing, please leave us a review on iTunes. It'll help other owners and managers find us. We really appreciate you listening, and we will see you in the next episode.